Welcome, everybody, to the Co-op Company Gaming Podcast, where we help you find games to play with your significant other, family, and friends. I'm joined today by Gabriel and Francesco from Kid Onion Studios. You guys could say hi.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
So, Gabriel is in charge of the programming over at Kid Onion, and Francesco, what is it that you do over there?
I'm working as an art director and level designer and game designer, so it's a bit like it's a small team, so a bit of everything.
Okay, and you guys currently are working on River Tales Stronger Together. That's the correct title, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So give me your elevator pitch of the game. What is it? Why would I want to play it?
Have you ever had one of those evenings with your best friend or your mate or your partner in which you want to play a game and you're looking for a great co-op game? River Tales is exactly that. It's basically a road trip that you make with your partner, but is set on a river. You're gonna be a cat or a fish, and you're gonna have to explore a lot and jump and be immersed in nature. So this is the elevator pitch of River Tales.
Okay, awesome. So what inspired the game? How did you guys come up with that? It's such an interesting concept of a fish and a cat. Where did that idea come from?
So came from our desire to make a game that we can play both together, because as Francesco said in our elevator pitch, we want to happens a lot of times that me and Francesco are together and want to play something together, and we saw that there aren't so much co-op titles out there, so we decided that it was the moment to create one title.
Yeah. We have played them all. That's just it. Like we finished all the co-op titles to play, and
And there was no more. I think that there's a lot of people in the world that have that experience. Obviously, we have a co-op centered channel and podcast, so we are finding new games all the time. And when you guys reached out to us with River Tales, it's honestly one of the most exciting games that I've seen coming up in the future here. And it's one that we cannot wait to sit down and play.
Thank you.
So that brings that brings me to wonder, do you guys have a release date planned for it yet? Or are you still just in the depths of building the game?
So yeah, really, we have a release. It's not a date, to be honest. But we know that we are gonna release the game like next year, more or less like the first few months of the year. So we still have a few months of development. I would say like it's 7-8 months of development, more or less. And yeah, so that's the release date that we have in mind at the moment.
Okay, so planning for early 2023. Obviously, delays could happen. We see that all the time with video games. So hoping that doesn't happen to you guys, because we can't wait for this one, which is why I reached out to set up this podcast, because I was curious how the game was going. You ran a Kickstarter campaign for the game, and you were funded like really quickly, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it took around 10 days to get fully funded. I may be wrong, Gabriele. Maybe it's gonna be. It was a bit more, maybe 2 weeks.
Maybe 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was probably pretty exciting for you guys, I would assume.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Also, really like the stories that we were doing a live in which we were showing the process, and there were people commenting, and we were very distracted because we were basically live on Twitch. And what happened is that we got founded while we were live. So we just received a message from an user saying, "Oh, guys, I have a good news for you. You got funded right now." So it was a live thing. Like we were on air when that happened. So it was a great day.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't imagine just how happy that moment would be to make you know that now you can make your dream come true. You can make that co-op game that you guys are dreaming of, because you feel like you've played everything and you're going to make the next great one. And yeah, I know that there's things in life that just feel so exciting when they happen, when it's your dream. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So my next question is, what will make this such a unique co-op game? You guys say you've played all of the co-op games, so I'm assuming that you have a lot of really good ideas for how you can work together. And I want to know what makes River Tales special as a co-op game. Why would I want to play it instead of anything else?
Uh, yeah, you wanna go, Brian? Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, River Tales is asymmetrical. So when you play it, you can also replay it again with just switching controllers with other mate, and you will experience another different experience. So a totally new game. But also not just the replayability of River Tales makes it a game, a cop game, interesting also for its visual style that I haven't seen many cartoon cop games like with the visual style that Francesco is giving to the game.
I really do love the art style of the game. It's cute, and I feel like it's very kid friendly, but also that it's very couple friendly. Like, my wife is absolutely in love with it. She feels totally at home, and I feel like it's something that really will appeal um, to ladies, to women that don't play a lot of games, that now they feel like there's a game that they can play with their spouse.
Hmm.
And that's something that's really exciting for us, since that's where we focus, is on couples playing games together.
Yeah, yeah, really. That's exactly it. Like this is our goal. Like the kind of target you've described is exactly what we are going for. Also, personally, I worked in animation for the past 10 years, and usually the target of the show I worked for was for kids, for teenagers, and this is like what I have done from the past. So I'm taking the experience that I've done in animation and I've put it in this game. Also, I've realized that there is also a target which is not kids, but that love the cartoon kind of aesthetic, and usually is among like 20 and 30 years old. Like you come back to the cartoon style. It's like when you are probably like 18, you stop playing Pokemon, and then as soon as you are like 23, 24, like you start playing Pokemon again because you like the aesthetic. There is a little gap which is not our target, but then it comes back, and so this is our target.
Right, just playing on a little bit of that nostalgia
Exactly.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I tell you, it hit me right. It hit my wife right. So, and I'm sure, I know that our video where we covered the game has got quite a lot of views, and you guys got fully funded. So you're definitely reaching your audience, I think. So
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. So I know, because we played the demo. Is the demo still available for people to play right now?
Uh, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, awesome. So we played the demo, and it was pretty buggy, but I mean, it's a demo. You hadn't even been funded on your Kickstarter, so I mean, we fully expected that. But there was a lot of unique things that you got to do together to help each other out through the puzzles. Would you guys mind expounding on some of that?
Yeah, in the demo, like one of the main mechanics. So what we are doing is basically is a river adventure in which you go through different biomes. Uh, our main idea is that each biomes you reach has got a different way of interacting with the environment, and every interaction is a co-op interaction, and you need to master it in order to get to the end of the chapter. So, for example, in the demo, one of the main feature is the lily pad. So the lily pad mechanic is the one that the fish basically bumps from the bottom and allows Farple to do some good platforming. This is just one instance and is in the Frog Empire. And then you basically jump in another biome in which like you learn how to use the river in a different way. So this is basically what we are expanding on. So from the game you can expect something like the demo, but like it always changes. Like it's never the same. Like every chapter feels fresh because one of the main goal is that when you play with someone, you don't want to really like you want to get good in that mechanic, but even having some good variety of mechanics is what makes the game fun. Like you always have to learn something new. So this is what we are aiming for at the moment, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that made It Takes Two such a massive success, is that they were constantly introducing new mechanics to the game that you got to learn and master, and then it was immediately taken away. So it's awesome to have a game where you have those mechanics that you get to learn, and then you get something new, and then you get something new. So I really hope to see that from you guys, and that sounds like what you're saying there. So I also love the fact like you said, it's a river adventure. So you have land and you have river, and your fish can go in the river, and your cat can only go on the land. So one of the things that we like was very entertaining and enjoyable was the fact that we had to stay on our element per se. So if the cat fell in the river, the fish would have to help him get out, and if the fish fell on the land, then the cat would have to help him get out. So I think that's one of the other unique things that you guys have going for you, is that you have to work in your elements. So
yeah.
So what made you guys decide on a cat and a fish, such an unlikely friendship? How did you guys land on that concept?
So, at the very beginning, we started with the fish because it was the first prototype that we tried. Because this is also our first game, and at the really beginning, the first thing that we had done is to test ourselves in doing a game, and the first character was a fish. Then we had the idea to do a co-op game, and the cat comes immediately after, because we want to create a couple that is a couple but is not an ordinary one. So we played with the double with a fish in the water, and the other it's classical enemy, and so yeah, it was the beginning of this unlikely story of this friendship.
Right, and you guys have a pretty unique story there where the cat ends up having to work with the fish in order to get back to his home and rescue his family or something. I don't remember entirely because it's been a long time, but I believe it's something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. We are rewriting things at the moment, so maybe something can change after. It was just an old demo, and a lot of things change. So maybe it will be, or maybe it will not.
Okay, yeah, and I mean that's something we fully expect with games through development, is to change and to become better, and that's, I think it's totally understandable as long as you're not coming out with a completely different game.
No, not at all.
So.
We realized that sometimes we are giving priority to the mechanics, and sometimes the story needs to change. If we find a mechanic which is fun, we need to change the story around the mechanic. So we have decided that the mechanics should be the king, basically the main priority of everything, and everything should revolve around that. So that's why we had to tweak the story slightly, because there were some mechanics that were not fitting along with what we had before. It's basically work in progress things, in which you need to change in order to make everything fit together.
Right, of course. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, there's going to be some people that are like, no, the story is all that matters. But honestly, for me and my wife, we just love games with really good mechanics that work really well and that are really enjoyable to play together. Story is a wonderful thing, and it should be something that's important to a game. But for us, personally, mechanics always come first. I could play a game with a bad story that has a wonderful mechanic. But a game with a great story that has terrible mechanics isn't something I'm interested in.
Yeah, it's probably a different kind of you will use a different kind of medium. Like if you want to just focus on the story, maybe game design is not the thing that you should do. Like that's our perspective, and I know it's a philosophy. Basically, you can argue about it forever with people, but yeah, this is what we think. Mechanic first, and the story should wrap nicely around it, but mechanic first.
Right, of course, absolutely. So you guys said that this is your first game, and you are from Kid Onion Studios. So how big is the team over at Kid Onion Studios?
The team is basically a quite flexible thing at the moment. Team at the moment, full time it's me and Gabriele. So we work on it basically every day, and. We had, and we still have, some artists that work for us as a freelance, or maybe they just come in when we need some help. We also have, for example, we started with a guy who was working with us for the marketing, and he helped us raising all the awareness before the Kickstarter. And then we still have a composer. He's composing all the music, Leonardo, and he's working with us. So I will say it's between 3 and 7, depending on the task we are doing in that specific moment you ask. So yeah, between 3 and 7.
Right, just for those things that are a little too overwhelming for two people
Exactly.
to
Yeah,
get to.
like animation, for example.
Just kind of
Exactly. Yeah.
freelance
Yeah.
part time. Right. Okay, that's fantastic. So, do you have an idea what consoles or what platforms the game is going to be available on?
Yes, we have an idea, and also, yeah, Gabriel, can we say about the news like
Yeah,
of the?
yeah, we can talk about that. We have signed an agreement with the publisher, so we are going to release on Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox, so also Steam. So
Okay, that's awesome. That's really exciting to
yeah,
actually have signed with the publisher. Are you allowed to say who the publisher is or not?
yeah, it is Gravity Game Arise. Is it?
Okay, I'm not sure I'm familiar with that, but I'm definitely going to be checking them out after
Yeah.
this because that's really exciting. I know that's something that a lot of people like. It doesn't come until really close to the end that they're actually able to have a publisher that they sign
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
So,
that's like we have we had a conversation with the publisher for the last few months, so it's something that we're not disclosing. Even by contract, you cannot do that. But yeah, now that is official, like we can say that. And yeah.
yeah, and it's awesome to be able to come to every platform because I know for us, we personally love to play our games on consoles. A lot of times we'll have people reach out to us with their games on PC, and we don't like to play games on PC, so it can be kind of hard for us to cover it sometimes just because we're console players. And I feel like a lot of people prefer to play couch co-op games specifically on a console. You know, that's what it's designed for, is you get to sit together on the couch, whereas with a computer you have to go and hook up multiple controllers and it gets a little tricky. So it's awesome to be able to come to all of the consoles, all of the platforms.
Yes, we are
So,
we are console players too, and of course when you do the first game, the easiest path will be releasing on computer is the easiest one because you don't have to do the porting. But yeah, eventually we managed to have a deal for the other console. So yeah,
that's awesome. I'm so excited
thank
for
you.
you guys. So, have you guys run into any big issues with the development so far that have pushed it back? Did you have an earlier release date planned, or has everything just been going according to plan so
I will
far?
say that everything is going according to plan. We had an idea of releasing earlier than 2023, but we have realized a few months ago, probably around May, we have realized that we could have done a much better game with more time. So, uh, like Gabriel and I, we had the chance to speak with the publisher and realized that we could push back the deadline in order to get a better product because that's what we want to make. Like it's, but like we are in love with the game and we want the best from it. So when we had a chance to not delay but expand the game and make it better, and also delay the deadline, by all means, we said that it was a good idea. So we could have had a much smaller game by now, but we have decided not to.
Right. And I think that's something that a lot of people are becoming more accepting of. We've seen a lot of really big publishers releasing games that just aren't finished. They aren't good and they should have been delayed. So I think a lot of people are becoming more accepting of games being pushed back or games taking a little longer to become fully fleshed out before they release to the public. Because I think a lot of people don't like it if you release a game that's not finished or that's really short and is disappointing. We like it when you take your time and make an excellent product. So I think that's perfectly acceptable. Sad to see that it won't come sooner, but excited to see what eventually will come.
We will not disappoint you.
I hope not. I hope not. So, what about any future games? Have you guys considered making any games after this? Will Kid Onion Studios continue to create games, or is River Tales going to be
No, we
the one
want
and
to make
only?
new games. we would like to. What we were thinking is that, of course, this is our first one, so it's the experience and the first experience, and our goal will be making other games after this one. So it's a long time plan. Maybe the next few years, like we have some games in mind that we would like to make after River Tales. But yeah, really, let's see how it goes. And yeah.
So you have some ideas in mind. Are they co-op ideas, or are you thinking that you'll move to solo experiences?
I don't know. I think it's too much early to say. We'll see. The ideas that we have are just too much, just ideas. When we see, when we think a new game, we will also think about a new kind of market or public, and we'll make the game fit to the specific.
To the specific market. Okay. Awesome. I just was curious. We love finding studios that specialize in co-op games, so I just was curious if that was the thinking in the future, or if you thought you would move on to something else. So I guess we'll just play it by ear and see
Yeah.
where you guys end up. So do you guys have a favorite part of the game so far that you can share with me without spoiling anything?
Yeah, really, I think I can share with you something that I like without giving too much of a spoiler, even because it was a part that has been shown in our latest trailer. So it's not a spoiler, like has been shown. And one of my favorite part is there is this frog kingdom in which like it's full of frogs, of course, and we are using a lot the Maya and Aztec kind of aesthetic there. And there is one level of this chapter of the frogs in which you're basically climbing, like the Farpool and Finn are climbing a huge wall full of very evil frogs. And it's very stormy, like there are a lot of lightnings and thunders, and you basically have to face and to fight many frogs till you get to the boss fight. And I think at the moment, for me, is one of the most fun part that we have, because like you feel the climax like going up, and something is going to happen soon. So I really like that part because it's pretty dynamic, and you have the chance to use all the things that you have learned in order to reach to the end of this huge Maya gate. And I'm very passionate about Maya and all the forest and the pyramids. So that is one of my favorite parts so far.
Okay, awesome. And Gabriel, what about you? Do you have a favorite part you can share with
I
us?
really enjoy the boss battle. The battle with the gigantic frog is. I love it just too much because there is this huge frog that is jumping and trying to killing the cat, and yeah, I'm in love with that character.
Okay. Awesome, and you guys cut the demo off right there, right before that fight. So I'm excited to see how the boss fights end up working
Yes,
out.
we didn't have like the time like before the Kickstarter to put it in the demo, and we wanted to polish it before releasing it. So now we have it. Of course, you can see a little part of that fight on our trailer, the new one. But yeah, even
Right, the new one. Yeah, I watched that
yeah, yeah.
a couple
And
a
if
week
you
ago
see
or
even the
something.
aesthetic of the location where in which like you meet the boss has changed slightly from the demo. So yeah, we can say the demo like it's now not updated, of course, with all the new things that we have added to the game.
Of course. So what are the games that inspired it? What kind of games caused you to
So
make this
like
game?
of course, like we started like when we have decided we want to do a co-op game, we have started watching like what was the market around us, and we loved A Way Out. We loved like extremely A Way Out, and we said, okay, we must make this with a different style. So like if you take A Way Out kind of concept and you blend it with Crash Bandicoot, because personally one of my love and my first game when I was a kid was Crash Bandicoot. So it's basically mixing the Crash Bandicoot formula with a co-op game, and that was what we were aiming for. So you can see a lot of Crash Bandicoot in it, I think, and also a good dose of Rayman, the 2D ones. That's a reference that we always take every time we need to do a part of level design, and we want to make it as smooth as possible or very bouncy. Like we basically look at Rayman, Legend and Origins. So those three games are basically what we are trying to blend and achieve. So.
Oh, that's awesome! That's so exciting. A Way
Okay.
Out is a game that we never personally played because we like to stick to rated E games. So that's something that's really exciting for me to see that inspiration. It's one of the reasons I fully understand that A Way Out is a fantastic co-op game. It's just something that, being a mature game, we didn't want to play together. So it's exciting to see something that's a lot more family friendly coming that's inspired by A Way Out. So. So I think you were saying you had one more thing you might be wanting to talk about.
It was about the style.
Or not.
I was happy about talking about the style and that their style, but it's the Crash Bandicoot thing. So I think I'm covered. Like I said what I meant.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gabriel and Francesco, for hopping on the podcast. We'll have the demo linked in the description for you guys if you want to go pick it up. And is there anywhere that our people should go and follow you to learn more about River Tales?
Of course, we have an Instagram account in which we post all the updates. Also, we are on Steam if you are interested in PC gaming. We are on Steam at the moment. And then Facebook. We have basically all the social networks. And if you look for River Tales, we have a lot of social, but Instagram is the one we use the most.
Okay, awesome. Everybody go follow them on Instagram. We'll make sure to link it in the description. We love you guys, and y'all are awesome.
Thank you so much.